Chapter 6. I'm stuck in the hospital, remember? Leah replied. What else is there to do but talk? She held her hand over the mouthpiece and told Charity, It's my mother. Charity waved and slipped behind Rebecca's curtain. From faraway Japan, her mother's voice said, Don't act sulky, Leah. You're being cared for. But not by you, Leah thought. So what did the doctor tell you? She asked. Not a darn thing. Honestly, I hope they know what they're doing at that place. You'd think they could tell us something by now. Leah was disappointed. They still don't know what's wrong with me? Evidently, according to Dr. Thomas, her mother said, then quoted, You're manifesting symptoms that are consistent with any number of health problems, as if that's supposed to pacify me. At any rate, they've scheduled more tests starting Monday morning, and once they can evaluate their results, they might be able to diagnose you. There's no excuse for dragging this thing out. I don't want to spend Christmas in the hospital. I'm sure you won't have to, but until I get some sort of definitive word from your doctor, I'm not cutting my honeymoon short. That seemed okay with you last time we talked. Sure, it's fine, Leah. Force yourself not to sound disappointed. But don't you worry. We're flying to Indianapolis December 23rd, just like we planned. We'll come straight to the hospital and spring you. Then it's home to the farm for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We'll put up a tree and put out all our presents. Why, I'm even planning to cook a turkey with all the trimmings. But what if they still don't know what's wrong with me? Then we'll find another doctor after Christmas, but I'm sure that won't be necessary. Now, is there anything else we need to discuss? Leah could think of 100 things she wanted to say. I'm scared, but couldn't get the words out. She wanted to say, I love you. Mom, Whoops, sorry dear, I've got to run. Someone's at the door. I'll call you before Monday. Ciao. Leah held the receiver for a long time, listening to the dial tone, that only moments before had been the voice of her mother. With tears welling in her eyes, she hung up. She decided to take a belated morning shower and put on her makeup, hoping it would make her feel better. She was just adding the finishing touches, not easy with her broken finger, when Molly came in to take blood pressures and temps. By now Rebecca was awake, but she lay in the bed listlessly. She looked feverish. Charity tried to soothe her while Molly worked. Did you find the missing tree? Leah asked, coming out of the bathroom as she spritzed on an expensive perfume. Still missing, Molly said. Leah told Charity what had happened. Stealing is wrong, Charity said, sighing. This outside world of yours is not a very nice place, Leah. Was she asking Leah to defend the world at large? There are good people too, Leah said. Aren't there, Molly? A few saints, an angel or two. Where's the angel? Rebecca asked. The angels are watching over you, little sister. You just can't see them, said Charity, smoothing Rebecca's damp forehead. Can you see any angels, Leah? Rebecca asked. Not really. Believing in angels was a little like believing in fairies and elves, Leah thought. Interesting mythology, but not scientifically valid. Molly said, I think you're an angel, Rebecca. Now why don't you close your eyes and let this good medicine do its work? She adjusted the drip on Rebecca's IV. Rebecca sighed. Molly turned to Leah. You look pretty. Got a date? Leah ran her fingers through her thick hair. Actually, I think I missed my date with the lunch tray. I'm starved. My fault, Molly said. I didn't get you back up here in time. But don't worry, there's plenty to eat in the rec room. Pizza, sandwiches, fresh fruit. Go help yourself. Do you want me to bring you something? Leah asked Charity. No, thank you. We ate already. Charity smiled at Leah. The rec room was more crowded than before. The giant screen TV was now showing The Little Mermaid for a group of engrossed kids as toddlers climbed on the plastic play equipment. Some of the children were hooked to IV lines that hung from poles standing next to them. Some were bald from chemotherapy treatments. Some had broken limbs and casts. A candy striper aide had sat in a corner, overseeing the group and running interference when two toddlers had a confrontation. Leah ventured into the kitchen and stopped short. Ethan stood in front of a vending machine contemplating the selections. You have to put money in. You can't just wish this stuff out, Leah said, hoping to make him smile. Startled, he jumped back. You surprised me. His cheeks reddened, and he dropped his gaze. He didn't offer her the hoped-for smile. Sorry, she said irritably. Why did he always look away from her? Did his religion forbid him to look her in the eye? Do you want me to help? She asked. I have no money for the machine. I have quarters. She reached into the pocket of her robe. Here, let me treat you. What would you like? I cannot take... Of course you can, she interrupted. Buying you a candy bar doesn't make us engaged, does it? She popped in 2 quarters. What's your favorite? I don't know. I've never had one before. Are you joking? Is this funny to you? Only strange, she said. more hesitant now, her annoyance subsiding. "I'll pick for you." She punched a button and a Milky Way bar dropped down the chute. She picked it up and handed it to him. "This is one of my favorites. Try it." Hesitantly, he took it from her, careful not to touch her hand. "Thank you." She tried to make eye contact, but Ethan kept his gaze on the candy bar. Again her anger flared. She spun and stalked over to the counter and a platter holding a stack of wrapped sandwiches. She grabbed one, took a fruit drink, and dropped into a nearby chair, pointedly ignoring Ethan. The guy might be good-looking, but he was a jerk as far as she was concerned. From the corner of her eye she saw that Ethan hadn't left the room. He just stood by the door, shifting from foot to foot. His shirt was white broadcloth, his pants were the same wide-leg style as his father's. He wore heavy dark boots. There was nothing fashionable about him. He was nothing like any of the boys she'd known back in Dallas. She tried hard not to look at him. Still he didn't move. She couldn't stand it any more. "What?" she cried. "What do you want? Is that candy bar poison or something?" He shook his head, his gaze riveted to the floor. "Then what's wrong, Ethan? Is there something wrong with me? Is there a particular reason why you won't look at me or talk to me?" "No." He came closer until he was standing over her, staring straight down into her face. His gaze was so intense that Leah felt as if he might burn her. She swallowed hard, her hands trembled, and her heart began to race. "What is it? Do you dislike me?" Her voice quivered with false bravado. "Dislike you?" He looked as if she had slapped him. "I do not dislike you, Leah Lewis Hall. I think you are the most beautiful girl I have ever set my eyes upon."